Good morning, peace, greetings, everyone. It's a beautiful morning here in Singapore, and I have with me an amazing leader that I've known all my life on the show with us today. And here in the Global Peace series, and as you can see, I'm a little bit, excited to have this man share with us, this amazing man share with us in the Global Peace series project of Go Global Business School. We are in the mission of reaching out to everybody in the world to get them to be inspired to what's possible in their life, to tap on the peace innately available in you in order to grow yourself as a powerful human being in service to humanity. So thank you so much. We have with us Dr. HIKMATULLAH BABU Sahib. Thank you so much, Dr.
You're
HIKMATULLAH.
welcome. You're welcome.
And it's a huge honor for us to have you with us. And you have the most exciting profile that we have had on the screen. I mean, on the space as well. So everybody knows you as...
Hopefully it's not a contradictory profile, conflicting.
Well, it's a very interesting profile because at the end of the day, you are a postdoctorate research fellow of the Yale University, USA, and you are also a PhD Islamic jurisprudence, the University of Edinburgh, Scotland, UK. You are a MA, the University of, in Islamic Studies, the University of Peshawar, Pakistan. Peshawar, yes, and then BA Islamic Studies, the University of Peshawar, Pakistan, and also you have an additional qualification, which is the Medical Bachelor Homeopathic Science from Malaysia, and you have been a former or associate professor of the Islamic University of Malaysia. Currently, you hold a very wonderful position in your own company, which is you have a couple of them, and this one is the chairman and academic advisor of Jannahedu.
Jannahedu means Jannah education.
Wow. Okay, Jannah. Oh, okay. Got that. Jannahedu International Sdn Bhd, a Singaporean who is currently staying in Malaysia. Thank you so much for being part of this journey with us.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. So, Dr. HIKMATULLAH, can you give us, as we always ask all our guests, your definition of peace?
Okay. I'm okay. Thank you very much for this invitation. In fact, I'm seeing on the screen quotation from Dalai Lama, a very well-reputed scholar and a religious figure. And he said, very interesting, do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. So it's a very interesting statement. The fact is that, he is talking about inner peace and the behavior of others. But the whole problem comes from the behavior of others, which is giving the problem for peace, So there's a conflict between one's peace and the peacelessness of others.
Okay.
That's it. See? So there's a bigger problem there. So how one should behave? Well, if a person were to slap you on your face, would you respond or just keep quiet? That cannot be peace.
Yes.
That is subduing a person. So you cannot. So person with dignity, he will react. So let's say a beautiful lady stands on your feet with a high heel and makes and you're feeling the pain. How would you react? We cannot. We can't be say, can you move out? Cannot. Your reaction will be proportionate to the pain you are experiencing. So that is why the problem starts here. So before we talk about how we should behave, we should also talk about how others should behave. Because it is said that every action has got a definite reaction, and the reaction is proportionate to the action. But it is this question of proportion, that's where people cross the limit. And then you get into trouble, then there is no end to it, because it will be a domino effect. It will keep on adding, one is, it's like adding more pain to others, because once you start, there is no end to it.
It becomes a viral cycle.
That's it. So people keep on adding, So Every action will result in reaction, and reaction result in another reaction. A continuous chain of reactions. There's no end to it, and
Yeah.
that is the root cause for all the peacelessness. You know. So if you ask me what my definition of peace, peace is, I would not say that tranquility is one word. Tranquility, having in tranquility, tranquility comes when everything in the environment is settled.
Mhm.
Nothing in the environment is causing you excitement or fear. That is peaceful. It's
It's
peaceful. So
just
it's not only internally. Let's say if the whole environment is on fire and you say I'm peaceful, cannot. You are not in peace.
humanly you will not be able to.
It's not possible. So its tranquility comes through the an individual having the security that the surrounding is not is trouble free. Then he will know he is secure and he is peace. So we have to look into, because it is not a one way traffic. It is it covers the entire surrounding of an individual. That set the tone of peace. Otherwise, you
That
can't
is
get any.
surely the angle that you're looking at is, and that is also the reason why everybody is trying to advocate peace, because they want everybody else to be peaceful. I mean,
That's
that
it.
is such a
But then,
profound
that's why
angle.
I'm saying that this piece could be PEAC or PIEC. Both are pronounced the same. So it's But what
Yeah,
people
you
are
just
doing with peace is they are piecing together some irreconcilable things together. You know. So it's not peaceful. So
that's
we,
right.
even though pronunciation is the same, but spellings are different. So what
Yeah,
many of them have done in the name of peace is they are piecing together.
that's
They
right.
are not
That's
being.
right.
So this is a
Absolutely.
bigger problem. Yeah.
Yes. So at this moment, if I were to, we're going to get into the game. We're going to play
Oh,
the miracle
sure.
game, and we're going to see what is going to show up for us today to have a next level of conversation. And
Okay, no
we
problem.
always love to hear our guests speak about peace, because we want to hear as many definitions, as many ways that we
Okay.
are seeing the world, so that we
Okay.
can, get to a new level of distinctions in life. So,
Okay.
are we ready to play the game?
Okay, sure. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yes. Thank you. So, as we say, the Miracle Game was launched in 2013 in the Singapore National Library. We had
Uh-huh.
this as the first world's gamified ebook. And
Uh-huh.
it's not tarot card reading. It's not about just getting into some messages of the future, or some kind of fortune telling. This is purely a book that is showing us that the world is full of signs that the higher force almighty speaks to us. So
Okay.
this was compiled through my learning experiences in Facebook, and
Okay.
through that all these 100 quotes came out. So we played as a game. Instead of reading it as a quote book, we made it into a game book. That's the only
Okay.
difference. So
That's
in
fine.
this instance, what we ask everybody when they're playing this game in general is to, really ground themselves, taking a deep breath in, and then thinking of a challenge that they are facing, and then whatever question, sometimes people have a lot of questions in their mind. They say, give me an answer, God, that kind of thing. So that's where we say, okay, think of a number
Okay.
1 to 100 and ask for, and then you'll get a number, and
I
then we'll
got
see
my
what.
number. Is my
Yes,
number is eight.
yes, we'll do
Eight.
8, definitely.
Number
And
eight.
by the
Because
way, happy birthday.
yeah,
I know
that's
your
why I'm
birthday.
doing number 8.
Yes, when you say number 8, I will know it's your birthday. So we're going to jump into number 8 right now. So we click in, and here we
Okay.
are.
Mm.
So this is the code that has come up for today.
Okay.
Can you read it?
Which is the black one or the blue one?
The blue one, sorry. Yeah. Do you want
Okay.
to read
Make
it?
me into us. Make you into us. Make it us all the time. That is the only way to solve issues of the world. We can make the changes together. Only we can do it. Okay. That is taking individual problem as a global problem.
Yes, however you feel that is the conversation, we will love to have it, because that's the idea behind this.
So this is a very interesting one. Make me into us. That means
Is
you are
that really
making it.
possible?
Yeah,
Yes.
that is, you think about your individual problem, or problem facing an individual into a global problem. It's a global problem. So problem, if there's a peacelessness at yourself, you make that peacelessness as a general one. You know, so it is your thinking is a global sense. Globalization of individual problem. You know, is opposed to localization.
Yes, yes,
Localization. So this is the issue. So what you have talked about is making it as a problem. Let's say if it's a problem is localized, you want to make sure that it has been amplified to a global level. So, for example, you have got a problem of a flood problem in your country. Assuming, I don't think in Malaysia, in Singapore, we have got flood. In Malaysia, we have some flood. Okay,
yes,
but now I was told that there are also some flood there.
yes,
Okay, flooded with ideas. But what happened is now, we are having what we call, when there's a problem, local issue of flood, then you want to make it as global issue so that you can get the experience and expertise of others who have got similar problem to share and find a to find a lasting solution to the problem. So you are gaining from experience of others. If you don't share your problem with others, you will not find a solution.
yes,
Yeah. So you stay at home waiting for your problem to be solved. It won't be solved only through interaction and getting to know from the experience. Because a person's medicine could be another person's poison. So
that's right.
your problem could be find a solution in another person. You know. So I feel that it is nothing wrong in sharing that experience because your aim is to find a solution so that it will not repeat itself. The problem will not repeat itself. Even if it is repeated, you will know how to handle it. And
That's
this
right.
is very important.
Yes,
Okay.
for sure. And I want to ask you, when we talk, I mean, as the quote was being shared, the whole conversation about the world as one, as everybody's problem is, and that's how people are. And I like your angle of looking at it is when we make our problem public, and that's what everyone, single
Yeah.
person and the community and everybody is doing, so
Yeah.
that they can garner interest, they can garner or enroll people to be part of the problem solving model.
Yeah.
And,
But that
and
depends on what sort of problem you're going to share. Not
yes,
the bedroom problem, you cannot be sharing that. But what is
yes,
happening in the name of sharing is everything without sense of shame and all this thing is going on. So that's where the problem is. There's need to even if this is the issue of bedroom one, that also there must be a platform where this type of thing can be discussed. You can't be discussed in public forum because it will be you are giving the wrong person the wrong indication. So it's very important what we have to do. You have
yes,
to have appropriate forum for that type of things. Then you
yes,
can discuss. Every
yes.
issue can be discussed.
Yes, and I want to ask you, this conversation about coming together, like a oneness conversation. We can make the changes together, coming from a different perspective of like the global. Actually, when you talk about the global problem, it's a human created problem, like what you are saying very
That's
clearly.
that's
And
right. That's
then now we want to come together to solve it.
right.
So that's what everybody's wanting to talk about. I want to
The
have your views
basic
on that.
basic thing for solving the problem is communication. Because if we can't communicate, we can't understand each other. And also in this issue of peace, I feel that peace is quite difficult to define. But you can define it through its opposite. Okay, let's say when I want to say what is white, how do you define what is white? Immediately we will jump black. No, between white and black there are shades of grays. Okay,
Yes,
so before we define what is white, we have to address what are those shades of grays mean before we go into black. We know obviously black is
yes,
the opposite of white. But in between these two poles of extreme colors, we've got shades, of various grades of gray. So anything, any degree of falling short of the white is gray, right up to the black. So in addressing peace, what we have to do is we have to address all those shades of grays because before a war takes place, there are a lot of other problems taking place. Distress arrogance, aggressions, you know, hatred. These are things we have to address before we go into address the war. War is the culmination of all all the hatred which has been accumulated, prejudices, discrimination, all these things added to those the war. So we have to address those things before we talk about how to solve the problem of war. We have to address all these issues which has led to that case. So in the case of, if you look about what we call peace, we have to talk about peacelessness first. What is the one which caused peacelessness? If you look into global level, what is happening is it's a aggression, somebody taking the land of another person, or somebody taking the property of another person, undermining their person's rights. These are the things which are leading to aggression. Somebody is interested in the wealth of another person, or we can replace the person with countries. You will see a lot of problems are happening. You
Yes.
see, country is made up of individuals collectively sharing a
Exactly.
common identity and purpose. That is what. But when this common identity and purpose cannot gel together, if there are animosity and hatred, suspicion, all these things. So before we talk about peacelessness, peace and non-peace, we have to look into all the shades of peacelessness. And only by removing those peacelessness stages of peacelessness, we can talk about absolute peace.
Awesome. Something is coming so strong for me when you say this is the first exercise. I feel every one of us who are watching this video, and I'm definitely going to do that, is
Oh,
to write down what really causes our peacelessness.
that's it.
Because
Address
sometimes
those
we are not
issues.
even clear what we are not.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Because what they have used the word is, let's go for peace. Peace is not, this is not peace. It is victory. It's not, it's peace. No, no, it's not. It's victory. It has never been. So it's a statement coming from a person of aggression. But when you say peace like this, it's surrender. It has got, that means it's a weakness.
Right.
So what we have to do is, before we talk about peace, we talk about factors that lead to peace, because it's quite difficult for us to define peace, because nobody has defined it. They call it tranquility. Some have got in surrender. Some talk about what do you call
Be
tolerance.
quiet.
All these terms is only shades. It doesn't talk about the actual thing. So that is why I'm saying that we better to talk about those factors which lead to peace, or what that leads to peacelessness
Yes.
or to war. So these gray areas should need to be addressed, and this is where the much of the work needs to be done.
That is, the conversation that can go really into a different dimension to this, whatever that we've been discussing all these weeks. Because most people, like what you said, have only a certain idea of
Yeah,
defining peace. And then people say peace and it's experience,
that's it.
right? So
Yeah,
when we say it's an experience, then how you cannot explain it? It could
that's
mean different thing to different people. And so
different
I
people.
assume my peace is the same as your peace, whatever.
It
But
won't work.
it doesn't matter.
That is where many people have actually they are groping in darkness. Peace is a dark room. They don't know where to look for it. You see, so what is important is you have to lighten it with the correct purpose for which you have to show them. These are the areas where things may go wrong. So address those issues, then we can automatically peace will come in.
Yes, this exercise that you said to look at peacelessness, and that is something very strong, because what will disturb my peace will
Yeah,
be different from you.
that's
And
it.
so sometimes I follow, let's say, for example, I follow your way of creating peace,
Mm.
and then I still find like I can't find it because it was a different conversation altogether.
See, taking a very classic case, what is happening in the world right now? America is spreading peace everywhere. What kind of peace they are doing? They are subduing other people in order to achieve their own agenda. So that is why the whole world is in turmoil, Because when a powerful person were to impose his will on the other and call it as peace, it is not peace. It is
Yeah.
shattering the whole community into pieces. That's why I was
Wow.
starting it, whether it is peace or pieces. What
Yeah.
America is trying to do is piecing together and call it as peace. It's not going to work, because every action will have a definite reaction. That's what the world is witnessing. Today, I might be weak. That does not mean that I accepted peace. Peace will come when two powerful people to sit together and solve the problem. It's not one person weak, another person strong. So the root cause for the peacelessness in this world is because some powerful forces are trying to dictate their rights and on others. So there won't be any peace. So it's a question of time before the weaker person gets the strength and go for war. This is what happening. If you look into the war, this is what happening, because there was no absolute peace enforced. Yeah.
I think that is really profound, and I have to say this because all these weeks or timing we have been doing is very much that conversation about, okay, you just have to sit down and close your eyes and do all of that, fine. But this is the really practical left brain conversation that needs to be addressed, because we kind of detach ourselves. We think that peace is in the heart and
Yeah.
that's it. You have to shut your mind, and that is the traditional way of, I
Yeah.
would say, that all the people
It
who
is
are now
it
online.
is self-defeating. It's a self-defeating one. You say that I'm peaceful, okay, that's it. Then they don't care whether the neighbor's house is on fire or his own house is on fire. He will not. That's the
Yes,
problem in the most. So I think we have to understand the environment plays a very key role in an individual's peace.
that's right.
Hmm.
That's right. So, can I ask you, Dr. Hikmatullah, that this conversation that today's book kind of shared this whole thing about what do you call making peace and solving issues. So, making the changes together. So, you talked a very important thing about communication. Maybe we can delve a little bit into that as we,
Okay.
that last conversation that I want to have with you is, what is in communication that we can uplift in order for us to create that synergy, that environment for everybody to come together to solve problems.
Okay. First of all, they have to agree on what the problem is all about. Okay. Because everybody has got some problem, but it's not a common problem. So they have to address the common problem. First, they list down what are the issues which are confronting peace, identify them, itemize them, list them, and agree, have a consensus on what to be discussed. And that's the first step. Then after that, you analyze that concept in its multi-dimensional aspects. It could be how it will affect the individual, how it will affect the family, how it will affect the society and the nation and international level. Because one problem can cause pain to the entire. It takes only an individual to change the history of humanity.
Yes.
That's what many of the prophets have done. Many of
Yes,
the people in. So one individual, that individual needs to be at peace in order for the world to be at peace.
that's right.
So that we have to work on that. So we agree. Let's say we diverse opinions are there. We will get people together, and first we agree on the agenda, what we want to discuss. Because in normal meeting, I'm seeing people talk for hours without agenda. You know, so it defeats the very purpose. So what we have to do, itemize the whole issue and select the most preponderant issue which need to be discussed, and then focus on that issue and look at it the holistically, not itemizing it individually, holistically and one issue, and then you will get the answers. And look into both the pros and cons. That's very important. That will be very useful. So it requires a lot of communication.
And so, if I were to ask you, and in this session, what would you recommend that as an individual to experience peace, or be at peace with whatever that's happening in the world? What would you recommend that we do? Your
Okay, I would recommend the person to actively engage in social issues, rather than closing oneself inside the house and, I'm communicating. It's not communication. Communication will come with all its plus and negatives. So only through interaction with others that you will understand the issue. Interaction could be participating in social activities, with
Yeah.
absolute sincerity of finding the truth. That is most important. What you are not, don't come with some hidden agenda or based on some other, you might have got your religious agenda or racial agenda. No, come as humanity, solving humanity. Treat everybody as equal. Okay, because to me, what is happening right now is they are classifying people according to their race, religion, and all these things. It will not solve the problem. It will not solve the problem. Even if you ask the division between Muslims and non-Muslims, I don't consider non-Muslim as non-Muslim. To me, they are potential Muslim. It's like you go to a what do you call shopping center, and you have a shop, and someone is coming as a customer. How would you treat him? It's a potential customer, so you will not be chasing him out. You see, that's the reason. So our attitude towards Muslim and non-Muslim must be they are all potential Muslims. So our treatment should be different.
That's right.
You see, so once you have this type of mindset in yours, then there will not be any conflict at all. Of course, there
Yes.
will be one or two irritants will be there trying to, cause problem. That has got to be handled accordingly. You see, but generally, public at whole, they are what do you call for
Are you
peace.
on the plug?
You know, they are what do you call and they what do you call on a peace. Everyone want to have a peace at home, at oneself, and with one family. If you look into what modern society has done, there is
Not
no
the.
peace at home. There's no peace at home at all because everybody become individualistic. There's no family at all, and that's another issue that we have to look at. So when you ask me what is peace, let's piece together all these things, and we will know it.
That is that is extremely profound in the angles that we look at it today. All this while, we had a lot of right brain conversation and getting people to feel the heart and all of that. At the same time, the clarity in terms of the left brain that we need to have so that we have a whole brain balanced thinking that we always,
But first of all, we confirm whether we have the brain in the right place or not.
I knew you were
Because
going to
what is
say
happening
something.
is having a brain and it's not functioning. You know.
Yes.
So what you have to do is you have the brain, identify where the brain is. Don't look into the left or right, but you identify where the brain is. You see, because
Yes.
when you talk about what do you call mind is not necessarily brain.
That's right.
It may not be necessarily heart. It's the sum total of the whole thing. You know,
Yes.
the
Some total.
personality.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
mind. So that's why we have to know. So it doesn't make any sense or doesn't mind. This all the mind is the location is very difficult to define.
That's right. That's right. And so it's so wonderful that we could have this conversation with you, Dr. HIKMATULLAH. It was a huge honor and privilege and a blessing, as I told you as we started the session, and for you to say yes to it and, to be able to
Okay,
have this.
I didn't know much about your program
Yes,
until you spoke.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
okay.
So it's all
I wish
timing,
you
and
all
I'm
success.
so happy.
I will.
So,
I wish you all success and also continue this good work. And I would say that get wider perspective of issue. You
that's
know,
right.
because
That's
there's
right.
no one particular role model or thing. Because your mission is to find peace and to see, and that peace is the global peace. So you have to make sure that you get the global perspective of peace.
All right. All-rounded perspectives for sure. Thank
Okay.
you so much,
You're
and
welcome.
I'm sure today's session opened up many hearts and minds of people to all different different areas of looking at life. So this
Yeah.
is for
Yeah,
sure.
I'll let them focus on those gray areas first before
Yes,
going.
exactly. Exactly. So this is the assignment that's given to you for today's session, that is about listing down what are the gray areas in your life that causes peacelessness. So this is the first time we're giving the other
You
side
are
approach
asking
to
me
it.
what is my gray area?
Yeah.
My area? Oh, there's too
You,
many
no,
areas.
no, no. I'm not asking you. I'm asking everybody who are
Okay.
watching the video
Oh,
to
sure, sure,
share.
sure, sure. No problem, no problem.
Thank
Because
you so much. And it's really a wonderful timing that we have all these conversations going on. And we have a global crowd watching this video. I mean, this sessions every week. The recorded version reached out to thousands of people across the world. So we're
okay.
very happy that you're able to be part of this journey with us. Thank you very much, Dr. Hikmatullah.
Thank you very
And
much.
yes, thank you everyone for watching in. We'll see you next week.